Good evening, and welcome to the first Overwatch video in a new series about the game. I'm Batgasm, and I have personally been through hell and back preparing to play this new game. I've torn shit out of my computer, I've plugged shit into my computer, I have entered the Matrix. Today we're going to talk about how Overwatch is Blizzard Entertainment's take on the superhero genre, with influence ranging from the bright and colorful universe of Pixar to the dark and gritty sci-fi like movies like The Matrix. First, let's take a moment to talk about Warcraft, Blizzard's fantasy IP. If you think about what really sets it apart from Lord of the Rings or Game of Thrones or other traditional fantasy like that, it's that Warcraft is Saturday morning cartoon fantasy. I don't mean that in any sort of insult. The X-Men animated series, Batman the animated series of the 90s are my definitive versions of those characters. It's cartoony and fun. Duncan Jones, the director of the new Warcraft movie, recently stated in an interview how Blizzard was inspired by Marvel Comics, which is something that I had never heard or thought about before, but after I had, it all clicked. I've also seen videos with Chris Metzen being interviewed talking about the Ultimates line by Marvel Comics and comparing how what Marvel's doing in their movies, tightening up the lore and the story, and that's something they want to do in the Warcraft movie. So it feels only natural that superheroes would be Blizzard's next big IP. Though we don't know how much Project Titan turned into Overwatch, there are little details about the game floating around the internet, one of them being that there was going to be a skill profession system in the game where by day you perform mundane tasks like a job, and by night would fight crime, literally living the superhero life. This video isn't meant to prove anything, or really even theory craft about the lore, they're just my observations and I want to participate in the fandom. So let's get started with a few comparisons.
Hello, Soldier 76. I am Athena. I will be guiding you through the Overwatch training program.
First one I noticed was Athena. Athena is Winston's AI companion, as seen in the Recall short and the tutorial of the game. And this is pretty similar to Iron Man's Jarvis, which I love. I love the idea. And even there's a picture of a hero that hasn't been revealed yet that looks pretty much, and I think even has the Athena logo on it. So it seems like at some point in the lore/game, Athena is going to be uploaded into a body, Vision style, Age of Ultron. The next comparison was about the lore, really, and how it really shares a lot of similarities with things like The Incredibles, Watchmen. I think in Watchmen they did the Keene Act, which outlawed all superheroes, and the people were calling for the disbanding of the Watchmen. No, they weren't Watchmen in the comics, it was Crime Busters. Anyways, movie book comparisons, but people wanted the team to be disbanded, much like in The Incredibles. In Overwatch, there's the Petrus Act, which deems any Overwatch activity illegal. And also two things that The Incredibles and Watchmen did was create a sense of history. Spoilers, by the way. The Incredibles opens up with the old school Mr. Incredible, Elastigirl, Frozone, and it was a golden age of superheroes. And then goes into the future with the new team. Watchmen does the same thing with the Minutemen and the First Night Owl. Overwatch has done the same thing. The heroes you're playing now aren't always necessarily heroes that were there at the beginning of when Overwatch was formed. So I really like that. It adds a real weight of history to the lore. Another thing on the lore is the Omnics. This isn't going to be a lore video. I may do some videos about that, but this is just a comparison video of some of the influences that I've noticed. But the Omnics were AI built by man, and then they mysteriously turned against us. No one knows what caused the AI to go against us. It's pretty similar to The Matrix. More specifically, if you watch the Animatrix, the DVD with all the different cartoons on it, there's one called The Second Renaissance, Part 1 and 2, and they show the early days of the AI developing in the Matrix universe. And there's a few clips that, if I remember right, really strike a lot of similarities with concepts like Zenyatta and the guy from the Alive trailer. I don't know his Halo, I think. Anyways. And as for what caused the Omnics to go bad, I don't think we've learned that yet. I haven't picked up the new art book from the collector's edition, so I don't know if there's any new tidbits in there. But just, I guess, one theory is I think it'll be aliens. And then, of course, the ultimate, the Avengers. Overwatch is basically Blizzard's Avengers as far as I'm concerned. From the music, I think we're clearly setting up that from the Recall trailer to have a Overwatch team-up money shot. Some comparisons could be made, say, with Soldier 76 and Captain America. Both all-American boys wanted to do best for the country, volunteered for a quote-unquote super soldier program that really gave them superhuman attributes. However, I do think 76 is cooler because he's almost like Strike Commander Morrison 76 seems more like Captain America, and Soldier 76 seems like what Captain America could become if he totally fucking broke. And so that makes 76 really awesome. I wish they would do things like that with Captain America. I like how this is all more science fiction based than fantasy. I think Overwatch really has to be able to separate itself from the other Blizzard IPs, so the dark fantasy of Diablo, the Saturday morning cartoon fantasy of Warcraft. It's not quite as science fantasy as StarCraft is. It's a little bit more techy and earth based. I don't think they'll add magic to it yet, but judging from these comparisons and influences, who knows what they could do. Maybe we'll get a Doctor Strange-like character one day who's purely magic-based, but I don't think now's the time. Like Reaper. Reaper's mysterious. How is he able to do that? Is he dead? Is it magic? What is it? I don't think so. I think it will probably be a lab accident. Him and Morrison got into it back in the day and they blew up and everyone thought they were dead. That's probably how Reaper's able to do that stuff. I don't think it'll be magic yet, but you never know. And another thing I'd like to see introduced is aliens, like I said before. Seeing the posters in Route 66 and then the movie production in Hollywood, I think it'd be really cool to have the aliens be the threat, the main threat, but it's not revealed until later into the game, obviously, and then be able to get a whole new sort of genre into Overwatch. And that would be kind of similar to Watchmen. Spoilers, book's like fucking 30 years old, you should go read it by now. But the comedian stumbles on, and even though they weren't real aliens, he saw the production of the aliens that ended up causing the shit. You know what I'm saying if you read it. So there you go. There's some Overwatch comparisons for you. If you want to know more about the lore, you can absolutely go to the official Overwatch site. I think it's playoverwatch.com, and you can read every character's bio. You can read maybe a brief history of the world. They have the comics on there. Be sure to check out. I think there's like 6 of them now, maybe 5. I don't remember. Torbjorn, Gimli, I think had the last comic. And then, of course, the animated shorts. Fucking Dragons, that was the best one out of all of them. If I had to rank it, I think I'd go Dragons, Alive, maybe, Recall, Hero. Hero was good, but there was just something about it that felt off. I wish the perspective wouldn't have been from the little girl. I wish it would have been from 76's point of view. I think that just would have made it cooler. The ending was cool when it started playing that fucking Spanish theme. It felt like a Tarantino movie almost. But I wish it would have been from his point of view, not the little girl's. But it was still awesome. And then the cinematic, the most Pixar one. But I like it when they go darker. I like it when they actually do things with Overwatch that isn't necessarily what the game looks like, bright and colorful. Because those two, I think, mix really well. I was recently talking to my mom, and I was telling her about all my fucking computer shit, and she goes, I think I saw a commercial for that game. It looks like something your 7-year-old nephew would play. And I couldn't fucking defend it. I tried. I was like, well, I know it does, but it's really super cool. Because I love the fucking look. It really isn't Pixar if you really get down to it, but broad views, it looks like Pixar shit. It looks like kid shit, but it's not. It's fucking awesome. Batgasm says 2 thumbs up. Go play fucking Overwatch. Play Overwatch with me.